conference will now be recorded.
All right, we'll begin with the flag salute.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we welcome everyone to the last day of the month of January 2023, Marion County Commission payday meeting. We'll just start right into payday.
Okay. We do have the sales tax. Oh wow, it's way over there. Let's see. 90,652.67.
Another good one.
And then we do have our grand total payday, which is $1,744,717.39, and we do have some invoices required separate approval.
Okay.
They are on your board if that makes it easier to get behind the fee page. So I have invoices for Western Associates in the total amount of $197.48.
Do we have a motion?
So moved.
A motion by Commissioner Gehring. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Commissioner Becker. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
I abstain.
One abstain, so 3 in favor, 1 abstain.
Okay. And then we have, oops, that got really small. We do have invoice for Elcon in the amount of $1,148.75.
Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Motion by Commissioner Becker. Is there a second? Second by Commissioner Profit. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye. Aye.
Opposed, nay.
Abstain.
What did you have to put a new box in up there?
I'm trying to look it up right now. My computer's not helping me.
The invoice is there.
Yeah,
It's that one that
there.
was missed. It was an older invoice that didn't get submitted.
No.
And it was at the Pilsen
Oh.
shop doing some electrical repairs.
October?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
To the float. If we can get 3 months float on your bills, that's
What's
good.
wrong with that company?
That's all right. That's no complaint.
I
As
do.
long as they do the work properly.
Actually, I think it might have been our staff that didn't get it.
Okay. But the resulting vote was 3 in favor, 1 abstain.
Yes, we got it.
Okay. Just want to make sure.
Okay. Does anybody have any questions about any of the invoices that are in the packet?
Mhm.
Page 4. Very advancement campaign, sales tax support allotment.
That's the donation to the food bank.
Oh, okay.
Goes through the Marion.
We pay it out of sales tax.
But that actually goes to advancement, not food bank.
That's, yes, that's who we pay it to.
Okay. Page 22. Get there.
Okay.
Does Road and Bridge lease an ice?
Second. I'm gonna let you explain it for $150 donation for the fundraiser for scholarships. So motion by Mueller, second by Commissioner Becker. Discussion. Okay, all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay.
I'm not opposed, I'm just gonna abstain because I'm not for sure what's going on. That's,
Well, it's been done in the past.
I know that, but I don't know what's going on.
Okay.
I go out and I take that 150, I buy items. We take it into our conference that we have every year.
For the weed
For
conference?
the weed conference.
Okay.
And then at the end, one night we have a banquet and we auction everything off.
Okay, now I'm okay, I'm gonna vote yay. But I
Okay.
wanted to find out more.
No, that's fine.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Very good question.
Yes.
So the resulting vote is what, 5-0?
Okay. Last year, when we did our budget, I brought up a four-wheeler and stuff, and somebody brought up a side-by-side. We do, I would like to try looking at a side-by-side, and replace the four-wheeler I have. That four-wheeler has lots of problems, it's old, it's almost 20 years old, so. I've been using it quite a bit through the summers, but would that be something I can go ahead and start looking at? So what I was looking at was a side-by-side, I put a 100-gallon sprayer tank in the back, to be able to, go around and spray around our buildings, that I try to do every year. I did come up last year, we have the landfill, and we had one guy kept saying, well, you got streets in it. I never could find it, but I didn't realize that we extended further east than what I was. We have a lot of cerisa back in there, and I am obligated to take care of that, and I would use that into helping spray that area too. So.
You didn't know that on the other side of the hedgerow was ours too?
I did not know that until this year, and I got out and I sprayed what I could with the pickup and stuff, but it gets rough in the pickup, so.
Now, do you have a trailer big enough?
If I can use that, we do have that one trailer that we bought for the mower, I can coincide with
Yeah, if it's
road
strong enough.
bridge, and it should be strong enough for that, so.
One thing leads to another.
Yes, I know. I've thought about that too, and
Now, what do you have in your budget?
I'm thinking I'm right around 48,000 in that capital outlay that I have for equipment only.
I would
We'd have to
Right.
bid, we'd have to bid
Yeah.
it.
get some bids on some different models and stuff.
I think Josh is just asking permission to
Yeah.
Yeah.
to at least be able to go out to get some numbers.
I think it's time, we've had some accidents with four-wheelers
That's
and
what I'm saying.
employees.
Yeah, side by side is
Side-by-side's
definitely
seatbelt.
safer.
Mhm.
Plus, you can't put a 100-gallon sprayer on four-wheeler.
No.
Yeah, and so, I think it's a good idea.
Okay, I believe you have commission.
Okay.
You have commission consensus to
Okay.
proceed with getting information.
All right. The transfer station, we are in the Central Kansas Regional Solid Waste Authority. In the past years that I've been there, we haven't asked for any dues, but this year we've been talking about some dues, and they said the last time we did it was $500. And they kind of wanted us to pass that along, make sure that was okay. I have no problem with $500 because we don't do it, but every 4 or 5 years, that breaks down to $100 to $125 a year, so.
Helps pay for the bookwork.
Yeah, helps pay the secretary that does all our legwork for us too, so.
Make a motion to approve.
Okay, motion by Commissioner Gehring, is there a second? Second by
Second.
Commissioner Dahlke. Other questions or discussion? If not, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried 5-0.
The skid steer at the transfer station. Is that something I can, that one we've got, it's going on 7, 8 years old. We're having a lot of electrical problems with it. I'd like to try getting the same model that we have. That way, the $7,000 tires we put on it last year, we can swap over and put it on this skid steer and keep going with it. Is that something to be okay to start looking in on that too?
Don't we have two of them?
We have a 330, and that's 23 years old. No, not 23, 13 years old. Because it started, we got that the same year I started with Marion County.
So is that the one you need to swap, or?
I'd probably get rid of the 850 just because all the electrical problems. We've had a lot of control problems. Because that one was actually the third one off the assembly line when they started making them. So we had a lot of problems. They've gone through and fixed a lot of the bugs now. It's 2015, So
What kind of warranty do those come with?
I'm not, I think, not real
1
sure.
year, so many so many hours?
Yeah. We use it a lot, you know, even though we got a bigger transfer station, but, you know, we go to drag back from the doors, we can drag all the way across the floor, you know, compared to the backhoe where we gotta back, drag a little bit, and we gotta go around, and, you know, and maneuver it around and get it going, you know. And the guys working together with both the machines is one back drags and he's going up to get another scoop, the other one shoving it in. So they're running both equipment and it's a lot quicker that way too, you know, if we want to be more efficient.
It's information, I guess.
Yeah, get bids. Don't know until you find the numbers.
I'd move to get rid of both of them.
How about we wait until we get the numbers and get the information first? Maybe.
We need to keep one of them, Bob, this maneuverability.
Is the one you bought in 20, you said 15?
That's the 850s, the 2015, the 330
What we
was,
gave for that one?
I think I ran across, I was thinking around 60,000.
It's gonna be 80 now. More than that?
Yeah.
All these numbers just
Yeah,
blow me away.
That it's crazy how much is in that tight little machine, but there's some money in them.
Yeah.
I mean,
I remember when everybody started buying those and they were 15.
You can still buy one for 55,000, but not the big ones. It's a little machine. I don't see no use in having two of them sitting down there. I mean, one I will accept because the idea, the design is not working like it should have worked due to our general contractor, or not the general contractor, but the engineer. There's still work that needs to be done down there. There's a lot of work that, I don't know, seems to be the big problems on the people's side where the people pull up that we hear the complaints about. I haven't looked at it. I just mentioned it to another commissioner, and he was there the other day and said it's doable, is to possibly build that side out a little bit on the south side and make it flatter up there on the top. And then we exit further to the west than what we can't go straight down the hill then from where it's at. 'Cause I think it's worth looking into. It's a project. I mean, you build it out there another 50 foot or so with dirt and get it up close to level up there to where cars can maneuver up on, instead of having to back down the hill. But,
We back up the hill.
yeah, back
well, either back up the hill or pull down the hill, whatever. I mean, it's a drop off to going south. We all know what it is. But if we was to extend that out and make it level up in there where people could even drive up and turn around up in there, that would be, it'd be an improvement that I think would be well worth the time to look at, just to show that they don't catch so much heck.
People do turn around in the middle of the hill, I've seen.
Yeah, they'll turn around wherever they can, and it's always a pain. I think we need to get it flat up there somehow, so.
Okay, to come back to the topic that
Yeah.
Josh brought up on the skid steer, he was asking for permission to gather information. Is there permission to do that?
Yeah, and maybe look at a size smaller down, maybe.
Okay.
And get two prices.
Okay.
I don't know if there'd be much difference.
Yeah. Yeah, you can do that too. That's something.
Okay, we have commission consensus to do.
Make sure the wheels fit on both sizes again.
Yeah.
Well, I mean,
Yeah.
but that's a,
That's kind of what I was looking at, was, you know, we dropped a lot of money in on tires
Yeah.
last year, you know. If they last a couple of years, we can, you know, we wouldn't have to worry about bidding a solid rubber tire on them. We can just bid them regular and pull those tires off and slap them on and go.
yeah.
What kind of shape's the loader in?
The backhoe,
Yeah.
it's in a lot better shape. It's still, we've got problems, but that's more of a computer, but it still runs. We have no issues with it. Just flashes a wrong VIN code at us, and that's from the dealership. That needs I need to call and talk to them about it, find out what we can do or what they can do about it, but they've been up several times and never could, they can't get it fixed, so. But we don't have a problem with it, you know. Had a few things, you know, things get wrapped up in the drive shaft and have to crawl under and cut it out, but, you know, that's expected with having an open drive shaft and trash too, so.
That's more like $160,000.
I know.
Yeah.
So,
And
and we just bought that thing
Yeah, we just
a
paid
year
it off.
before the building was built.
I was gonna say, we just paid it off, didn't we?
Yeah, we just paid it off. I believe we made our last payment.
About time we pay it off, that's when you start thinking about it.
And then, we need to explore just what needs to be done. I mean, I think we've all had that conversation before, kick around ideas. You know, I talked to Josh about, like one of them little shuttle trucks. He didn't think it would quite work, but it's an idea. Just, we gotta try to start thinking of something to where we can close the doors, do, whether it's a piece of equipment that makes that happen and we can make the facility work.
Can you explain a little more to me?
So the little, you know, when you go to a dockyard where a bunch of trailers are, and they got the little shuttle truck.
Oh, now I
There's
understand.
about 50 of them sitting there waiting for you when you need for you.
Yeah, and then they're airlift, so I mean, they'll go under and jack them up, and then they drive them in, back them up, drop them.
They never get out of the cab.
Yeah.
Well, they have to get out to hook up the hoses. They do.
Yeah,
have to get out
yeah,
there.
that's.
But they walk out the back of the cab.
Yeah.
But I just, you know, I was kicking around that idea, if that would help them get it down the chute. But I guess until you really look at it, you don't really know, but right now, I don't think it's gonna work, 'cause
I don't think it'll.
the dolly down's probably drag going through the bottom.
It's got too much of a hump going in.
Yeah.
You're gonna drag on.
But, you know, just maybe there's something that we can do.
Yeah, we can get the truck turned around going like they wanted it to, you know.
Put the tarps on the other side.
Put the tarps on the other side would be, we'd have to have, get somebody involved in helping move the tarps over and getting everything switched to rolling to the driver's side instead of to the passenger side.
Okay, on our new bed, new trailer, do you order them that way then?
I can call. I just thought about, you know, I put his name down, I'll call him and I'll talk with him and see if we can't. I know they do roll to the other side. I've seen trailers running around where they roll to the driver's side. You know, since they haven't started building it, there shouldn't be, and it's not gonna cost any more to switch it, so it's just having to put it on the opposite side.
And then how many trailers do we gotta modify?
For three or four of them, yeah.
I'd be interested in seeing what that dollar amount is to get those moved. I mean, if it starts to get the door shut, at least we're taking a step. We're trying to do something.
Yeah. Yeah, we just have to build up a little, you know, I know going out is different than coming in on one side. We just have to get built up a little further to the north because it comes out and drops. One of the trailers actually kind of barely scratches the top of the rock and stuff, so build that up a little further down.
The dolly does?
Yes, even it all the way up.
All the way up.
Yeah.
Just comes out at too much of an incline instead of arching even.
Should have made a walker.
Be out in the street.
Couldn't make the corner then.
But I do have the guys out, they are picking, they're cleaning up. You know, I really got on them here a couple weeks ago about it and getting a plan, trying to set with them where they can get out and do it once a week and stuff. You know, trying to make things look better around there. Got them pushing more in and doing more right now, so.
And the idea with mattresses is that you put them on top of the load, right?
We either put them on top or on the bottom. I've been having to put them on the bottom because once you get all that weight down, they're flat. There's no problem with
It
it.
also helps with the impact, dropping stuff heavy in it. into the trailer, prolonging the life of
Yeah.
the trailer.
Yeah, I think yesterday they threw in the last of them in.
Good.
So that pile's all cleaned up.
Good.
You know, it might be worth bonus if it stays that way. I mean,
Yeah, I get it. Everybody
just-
seems to complain about the mattresses.
Yeah, and it's one of the big things we hear.
Mhm.
But it's,
Yeah,
the mattress is not something that blows out there in the grass.
No.
But it seems to be one of the biggest complaints.
Yeah.
Either the pile and the mattress up there actually sometimes helps do with that wind's coming in through that one door. It helps stop a lot of that trash too, so. But
How much has the trash increased over the last year, do you think? 2%, 5%, 10%?
Well, probably about 2% since we're getting, you know, we got sunflower bringing in to us, you know, every week or every other week, you know, and then Isley.
What's sunflower?
Sunflower Sanitation, they're a.
Northwest County.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Northwest. they
That's the one that
started up
took
there.
over when
Okay.
Waste
Yeah.
Management
Okay.
vacated.
And so is Nicely, but that's
Once
Southwest.
a month, Isley will come in with a load of
I was gonna
trash.
ask whether they ever brought anything over.
Yep, they do once a month. It's usually the second week of the month, or second Tuesday of the month is when they come over, so.
Okay, anything else for us?
No, that's it.
Any other questions from the commission?
Sorry, Josh, just hadn't seen you in a while.
It's been a while. I will say, it has been a while,
I
yeah.
had to keep you here for a little bit longer.
It's fine.
Well, I heard he was still employed here, but
I know he is. I've seen
I
him.
stay hidden very well
Okay.
some days, so, yeah.
Commissioner Dalkey, you had questions several months ago already about commercial rates?
yeah, that's what we charge.
Were you wanting to still pursue that or with
Well,
Josh?
I just want everybody to keep up on it. I mean, we haven't done nothing to them.
Right, I mean, I remember, since we've had this nice long discussion, it came up, that's one of the
Yeah.
items that was on the list. Is it something you still want to pursue with
Just-
Josh?
We need to look at them and see if there's, I don't know, have we ever changed them?
Okay, before we get into weed season
I
and
mean,
another
from the time
few months.
that we enacted that bill, we've never changed it.
Maybe we should get some information from other counties to see what they're doing.
Yeah, I think,
That'd be a possibility, Josh.
okay.
Checking around the local ones, closer ones, see where they're at.
I mean, some of them have just a flat out rate for, you know, because they don't have to pay tax on it. They pay that 130, commercial's 132 or something like that. And then unless they have more loads, and some of them.
Right, I mean, it's based on, there's
The usage.
a formula of and usage.
Yeah.
Are you're talking about the actual assessment fee on the taxes?
Yes, yeah, yeah, and it's never been changed. I don't know that we've ever changed it.
Would you want to work with Josh and then bring some to the commission in, what, three weeks maybe? Did that give enough time? Or do you want to do quicker?
No.
Okay.
No.
Longer.
Okay,
Longer.
well,
I mean,
I just don't
I
want to forget
I
it.
want a fair value to make it fair.
Okay.
Look at it.
3 months.
I'll delegate. Commissioner Dalkey, if you'd work with Josh and bring
Yeah,
on
let's
the
get
questions
back
you
when
have.
you're ready.
I need a copy of our thing, Tina, whenever you get time to print one out, and Josh does too, probably.
Yeah.
See what, so he knows what we're charging.
But I think that'd be really good to review it.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and then how you're gonna review it.
Right, right.
Stuff like that.
And bring it to the commission and we
Be
can.
something we'd have to have the city say, ask how many dumpsters they have at a business.
Figured the
You know, how
inflation
big,
rate.
you know, we'd have to work with the cities too on that.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
But get the process started.
Yeah.
Again, start collecting information and then we can, it's just like out of the lake, we've got to review all of that.
Yeah.
We just need to do it. Okay, very good. Homework assignment.
Yay!
If you're gonna get permission to get numbers from side by side.
I might as well add more to it,
Yeah,
right?
we're
No,
gonna,
you ended up with a whole bunch more than what you
we're
thought.
gonna do some homework out.
Just don't give me a crunch, because it's a busy month. There you go.
We just-
And have it back next week.
Yeah, not next week. All right.
All right.
Thank you, Josh.
All right, thank you.
Have a good day.
You too.
Okay, did we have a Zoom scheduled at 10 o'clock, or
Well,
are they
Isaac's-
in person?
Well, Isaac's here, I don't know if anyone else is here,
Okay, I didn't know if the other consultants were joining us.
but I think it might be good, just go ahead with Isaac
Is that agreeable with the commission to move to Isaac?
and then do the other
Is
discussions.
there anything we can do? Let's do that. I have a feeling the way it sounds the whole way, there's more
We
than
did not check in my
Yeah.
path.
More than what?
Do you mind
I think the
standing up?
consultants are
Thank
here.
you.
How do they?
Oh, okay. You him by himself.
I was trying to get something, gotta get moving, I'm never gonna turn loose that permit. Oh, worried about whether or not we're being safe, we're just trying like help be safe.
No, this is perfect. He's gonna call in. He said
He's
this
gonna
is
call
because
in.
he's actually into a cheat code.
Over this way. Awesome.
Good morning.
Good morning.
I'm messaging Brian here. He said to let him know when he needs to call in, and so he's gonna call in here. I talked to him this morning about the dam here. So he said he's talked to the gentleman from the state. It sounds like their plan is now is they're going to write up a draft of this permit. He said as far as how far they're gonna go onto the dredging of the Stilling Basin, he's not sure. But the plan is the state's gonna, it's not gonna be official, they're gonna draw something up, kind of what they're thinking. They're gonna give him that copy. He can then present that to the commission, and we can discuss pretty much anything on it that we don't like, or that we wanna see changed, or problems, or anything like that, then he can take that back to the state, and we can see what the next steps would be to getting that permit, so we can go ahead and start our construction on the dam.
Right. Will he have that draft language today? We'll find out when he calls.
Yeah, is
Okay.
he on?
Not yet.
Oh, no, you mean he was gonna join the go-to meeting?
Yeah, he said he was gonna call in. He told me, I can see.
What number is he gonna call?
The.
On the meeting?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. No, I don't see him.
We're learning. So.
He said that it sounded like the permit for the actual erosion problems is pretty much complete. They were looking at the verbiage for the additional portion, to get to the commission.
And that's where we have to decide as a commission how we respond.
Just report to the rest of the commission. Isaac and I and Dave met with the landowner after the meeting the other day. Everything went real well. He's very receptive. He wants to know if there was any dredging that would be further talk about how that plan would happen. But the little dam that you've seen in the pictures was put there many years ago to cross, just from the field out. So the reason why that dam's there, but there is a beaver dam in front of that he reported.
Oh.
And so he's
Oh.
but,
All of a sudden, there's some golden handcuffs involved with beaver dams.
yeah.
There's
yeah.
some other wildlife issues too.
Yeah,
We won't
so-
get into that.
But anyway, you know, it's up there, so, but he's very receptive to it. And, personally, if it was dredging, he'd like to see what was gonna happen. So,
And we appreciate the landowner being cooperative,
Yeah.
being receptive, but obviously they want to know what's going
but
to happen.
concerned about the washout, if the tube's ever exposed 100% open like they're wanting. Concerned about that.
Mhm.
What do you say?
Wonder if it couldn't just be capability put in so that the sump could be minutes plugged in or something, and
Right.
boom, start sucking it out, and all of a sudden, okay. Would that be acceptable? We have means to make that available to you.
Right.
I think once a year that, if it comes to that, that we propose to them, once a year that we do that for our own good and inspect, just like they did this year. They inspected it that way this year, but I'd be,
As long as you had provisions to make it happen, you know, quickly.
From 1 to 3 years, you know.
it's easy, it's a half a day,
Yeah.
or 3/4 day job to pump it out in a low flow situation. A high flow, it's not that easy.
Yeah, they talk about in their statute, but my understanding is by statute that has to be open, but they could do a waiver that the pit could stay in place.
Just to inspect, yes.
Right.
Yeah.
It's just a matter of inspection, and like you say, it'd be relatively easy to,
Yeah.
now that you know the process. It can be done, much better solution than knocking it out.
That's the way I think everybody feels about it that's involved in it. I'd like to pursue that first before we tear it all out and then have to rip-rap it clear down into the landowners to keep.
Well, that's the issue, because there's gonna be a lot more
Yeah.
potential erosion
Yeah,
down there.
yeah.
He's saying his access code is invalid.
See if he can just call you on your cell phone, because I'm not sure.
We can hear the phone.
Just put it on speaker.
Yeah.
Hey, Isaac.
Hey, Brian.
Yeah.
I just got you on speaker here in the meeting.
Okay. Sorry, I've typed it in several times and just keep saying it's out. So.
That's okay. Can everybody hear?
Yes.
Yeah, you're good to go. We can hear you.
Okay. All right. Is this a public forum as well?
Yes.
Stuff
Yes.
in there?
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Okay. So I guess just to follow up from the meeting the other day, I guess getting some thoughts on what you're thinking on the permitting side. I am at a conference here, and all of the folks from DWR are here, and I'll be able to visit them if I need to after this meeting. I visited with them briefly this morning just to kind of get their thoughts, but I think they're just trying to figure out a way that would best work for Marion County to get the erosion part done, but as well as, still having some of that responsibility for looking at other issues as we move forward. So I know they've started drafting some language, but I haven't finished that to figure out, kind of what that permit might look like. But I guess my initial thoughts from the meeting is, that typically there's probably going to end up being something in that permit that's going to require some attention with the downstream channel and trying to get the pipe from not being submerged. And so that's kind of where I'm at. I think the best way to do that, though, like to figure out what all needs to be done, is we probably need to do more surveying. And I'm not saying particularly SEC, but we would be open to doing that for you if you would want us to do it. But the channel, the profile that they ran only went a short distance downstream from the structure, and then down there on the Somerville property near the other structure. And so there was a pretty long span there where there wasn't any channel elevations taken. And so knowing what that channel grade does in between the two structures is going to be pretty important to know how much material is actually going to have to be removed in order to get the water surface elevation in the pool at the very outlet edge of the pipe. So that survey would allow you guys to have a better understanding of the amount of material that could potentially have to be removed from the channel. So,
Brian?
yes.
Well, this is Randy, Commissioner Dalkey, that went with Isaac and Dave had the other commissioner and talked to the landowner, and the landowner's pretty well receptive to stuff, and that can be cleared out down there to let the water drain before you would, there's what, a foot and a half raise or 2 foot difference between the top side of that obstruction and then the bottom side down there.
Yeah.
But in your opinion, we examined that tunnel this last year. We pumped it out and examined it. Would it be beneficial to wait and offer that service at some time through this negotiations? That we would do that once a year? I mean, it takes a half a day to in a low flow situation, not in a high flow situation, but in a low flow. And would that, do you think that has any bearings?
So you're saying like a condition of would be to pump out the stilling basin and run a camera, but every annually or whatever time frame.
If that's it, I mean, you know, there's going to be some water coming no matter what out through there, and but I think the way it sounded, they're looking on the phone conversation we had there the other day. They're looking for if there's a major catastrophe or something's really broke loose. The way it sounded the other day.
It looked like they were just wanting to keep tabs on it.
And keep tabs on it.
As long as we had provisions ready for them.
Yeah. So.
That's definitely something that I could ask them today, if that'd be something that they'd be open to.
I'm asking your opinion whether we offer it now or not, or whether we let them go ahead and go through with their service and then come back with that.
Headed off the pass.
You think headed off the pass?
Yeah.
Okay. So I'm feeling here with the commission
that statement there still would not meet the KAR black and white text, you know, that's in there about the regulation of that pipe needing to be above the stealing basin pool level. It's supposed to be a foot, according to the KAR. I think they were willing to say that as long as we were at the same elevation, they would be okay. So if we did do that, or you guys did do that, there would probably have to be some sort of a waiver or agreement with the state.
And that's sort
that
of
would be outside of the KAR regulation.
That's sort of what we're hoping to accomplish here. I mean, this thing's only been here for
100 years.
And I don't know when that regulation was enacted. It sort of looked like it was enacted here in the last 20 years or so. So I'm just saying that we're willing to work with them, and I think the commission's, as a commission, we're willing to work with them, but all we're wanting to be is reasonable about this instead of disturbing a lot of ground to get something done.
Yeah.
Tell them about the beaver.
No. And Brian, this is David Mueller.
Can you hear, Brian?
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, good. Our focus is still the erosion issue. We consider that the priority. We've got to get that erosion repair work done. And I guess we are not very enthused about delaying the erosion because we're discussing another potential issue. Anything we can do to expedite the erosion control, we've got to do. We definitely are committed to looking at the other issue, but we're not going to stand by and wait if they're going to hold us hostage on the erosion control permit over this other issue. I've got a real problem with that. Does that?
Yeah, I understand that sentiment for sure.
So I guess my next question to you would be, if they continue to hold our permit, what's the consequences if we just go ahead with the erosion repair? I mean, we're in violation anyway. But we're doing the right thing. We're fixing the dam, and we're fixing it to their specifications.
Right.
But what would be the consequences?
I don't know what the actual consequences.
I mean, we'd be in violation, which we are now.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
what's
we would just have to,
the thing would,
I guess
I
you
guess.
just have to figure out what the consequences would be. Should it be done without a permit?
So my communication to them is we've got to go with the highest priority, and if they're gonna hold us up on a lower priority, we're gonna move forward. So.
Plus, if we don't start doing something pretty soon,
We're
gonna be another year out.
Another year out.
Yeah.
I guess it's a frustrating issue, and we've got it. We're willing to meet what they're asking. We're willing to pursue the other issue, investigate it, but we're not going to come up with a solution on the secondary issue and hold up the primary issue.
Yeah.
Why
Yeah.
paying for it twice?
Yeah.
Proceed without a permit, because they're gonna want to inspect it. And then they're gonna
throw
make you
another
rip it
roof.
all out and
Yeah.
start again.
Yeah. Yeah.
Brian,
Yeah.
this is Isaac here. Do you think if we agreed to survey that, like you had been talking about from the Stilling Basin down to the bridge, to actually do the full survey there, to say, hey, you know, we're willing to get the information we need to see what it's gonna take to move forward? If we agreed to do that, kind of in good faith, to show them that we're willing to try to get that information, that they could go at, that would be enough for them to see that the county's willing to work with them, and we'd be able to get that permit to go ahead and work on the erosion?
So I brought that up this morning. That was the conversation that I had with Ambrose when I walked in.
That's what I brought up in the meeting.
There wasn't a definitive answer as to whether that would be enough.
Okay.
So,
Okay.
and then, like I said, they still haven't written the language up that they were going to propose. So, at break, I was gonna talk to Zach and Ambrose a little bit longer, try to figure out what their thoughts were on that whole side of it. So.
Okay, and just another comment, I guess, so to say, is, and this is kind of what I was trying to say in the meeting yesterday. You know, when they came out and they did that initial report, and they talked about, they had a straight up list of requirements and recommendations. You know, the inspection of the Stilling Basin and this issue here of the pipe being below the streamline channel, that both of those were just listed under the recommendations instead of the requirements. I guess my question to them would be, why wasn't that stated as a requirement right off the bat,
Yeah.
instead of waiting for a year and a half to now make it seem like it's a requirement instead of just a recommendation? Because I feel like we could have been working on this for the past 2 years if it was gonna be a requirement.
Yeah.
But,
I agree.
yeah.
I think you know that I've had some.
Yeah, yeah, I know, yeah.
I think I know.
I know, I guess,
Trying to,
right. And I think everybody here, we're just really trying to figure out what is it gonna take to get the permit so we could just get started on the erosion. And I guess none of us have that answer, and I know you don't have that answer either, and it's.
Yeah, I wish I did have that answer right now, but
Right.
I don't. Yeah.
Government talking to government.
I'm still trying to work with them to try to figure out what the best solution is. I mean, because ultimately they're the permitting agency, so
Right.
we're kind of at the point of figuring out what is going to be the requirements to get the permit to do the erosion, or like was stated earlier, that you do it and find out what the consequences are. And,
Right.
you know, I understand that sentiment fully. I mean, I've been in projects where we've kind of pushed that with other agencies, but typically the consequences can sometimes be a little bit more than just the time that you lose. So,
Right.
but I don't know what kind of, other agencies have, they can charge money and that kind of stuff. I don't know that DWR would ever do that, but they are the permitting agency. So.
Okay. So what do you say?
I think what I will visit with him more today, kind of present some of these thoughts of the survey again. What is just kind of really push on what is the answer to how do you get the erosion control thing fixed now, like in the very near future, without having to commit to a solution that is unknown at this point, because we don't have survey or design or anything else.
Right.
And, so,
I guess one last question, would it do any good to communicate with the chief engineer Earl Lewis or Secretary of Ag Mike Bean? Or does that really just stir things up?
Earl already knows about it.
Okay.
After the last meeting, he was contacted by I think, a representative from the state. So, Earl is already aware of it.
Okay.
Well, I guess my final thoughts is thank you for your work for us. We appreciate it. And good luck with talking to them. But we are aware of what they said, that, you know, I think we want to know too, if there's an incident happening within the dam sometime through the year, and we clean it out in the dry period and find out that there's more, that we need to then camera it or something like that in the dry part of the time and figure out whether there's something going on. I mean, I think we're aware of that, and they say we are the owners of it. It's going to be our expense, so I think that's more than's ever been done in the last 50 years. Yeah. So, no, but thank you.
Sorry, I was gonna say something. I think I cut you off. Go ahead.
I'm just saying thank you for working with us, and we're willing to work with them if they give us a chance to do some things in time to help prevent something happening.
Yeah, well, we appreciate your guys' business as well. And I've really enjoyed this project up till the but I would say...
Is that tongue in cheek?
I would say, you know, that thought of doing that, cleaning it out, would be annually, you know, on a cost standpoint. I mean, just having that group from Emporia coming over and doing that would be, you know, pretty low maintenance cost, really, annually.
Yeah, and we expect we would do that. I mean, I think that's something we could, something that's reasonable to do. Yeah.
Even if they, I mean, because those guys put that on a thumb drive and they just drop it off at my house. And so, I mean, if they even required like an engineer to inspect their, you know, footage every year, I mean, we wouldn't really have to be there because they just could drop the thumb drive off at our house.
Wow. Cool.
That's a reasonable solution.
I'll approach that idea too.
All right.
I mean, they, you know, and I say that there's frustration, but I mean, I'm friends with all those guys. I've worked with them for years,
right.
and they are just doing what they are paid to do, and following the state regulation. And
right.
so they're kind of stuck too, and so they've got to answer to every decision that they make and make sure that they're doing things that they were hired to do. So I think that there is a middle ground somewhere here, and I'm hoping that I can help you get there. So.
Yeah, and I hope that annual inspection idea is a sort of a deal that's simple thing that we could take care of and do, and yet help everybody, because once we find it, then that's going to throw us into, if we find a problem, that's going to throw us into a bigger thing we got to do. And so that we understand that, and we're willing to work that way.
Okay, that sounds good.
Thank you.
I guess for follow-up, do you want me to just work through Isaac from information I find, or do you want to have another call, or how do you want to do that?
Hey, communicate with Isaac first, and then if the commission has questions, we may have a follow-up. Yeah.
Okay.
Did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard that.
Okay.
All right, well, thank you guys.
No, thank you.
Thank you. Have good news.
All right, have a good one.
You too. Thanks, Brian.
Bye.
Thank you for your input too. I appreciate it.
So I guess I'll wait to hear from him, and
What's he at, some sort of conference right now?
yeah, he could,
Too bad you didn't know it, so you could have gone to a conference. Just hang out at coffee break.
yeah.
I think they call that stalking.
Sometimes you have to. The squeaky wheel gets greased.
Is there any other conversation or questions or anything else there?
We'll know until we hear from them.
Right. If they wanna be able to see that, then let's make it available for them to see.
Right.
Yeah,
But that's the most reasonable solution.
to start with, and then if something happens, then we gotta do something.
But that's showing good faith that we're, I don't know what more than
Trying to work on
to
it.
be reasonable. We've gotta get the erosion fixed.
And the thing didn't settle, it was built that way. That's a grandfather clause.
You would think, especially when this state is covered with conservation core lakes. They were all built for design. That's right. You'd think there'd be a grandfather somewhere in there. Either that or we're opening up a can of worms with every other lake in this state.
All right. Sharon, did you have any contribution?
You know, I'm just curious, there's another dam in Marion County that's in violation and has been for years. I'm curious to know what actions DWR has taken with that property owner. Because to my knowledge, there's only been passive actions taken.
Well, I guess that was my comment on, let's go ahead and fix it. But then the result will be they'll make it redo it, redo it, redo it, redo it.
But if you don't,
So you're in violation, been in violation. But we don't wanna play that game, but at the same time, we've gotta make the repairs.
the erosion was considered significant
Yes.
hazard.
Yes.
So if it's not fixed, I mean, that could be
Yes.
catastrophic. I
Right.
don't know what they would consider that, if
Right.
that levy failed.
Right. Versus the issue they have with the pipe, that's
Right.
not in that category.
Right.
Yeah, if it failed, it would just go over the overflow. You have other erosion issues on
Oh,
Okay.
if the tube failed, you mean? Yeah.
it. It would just build up until it ran over the road.
Design overflow. All right, we'll keep pushing.
Okay, I'll keep you guys in the loop with what we
Thank
find
you.
out.
We appreciate all the work you put into this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
And thank you, Sharon, for helping us too. Teamwork.
Inspection.
Somebody's got a mic.
Yeah, that's somebody new just came on. All right, anything else on the dam project discussion? If not, we'll move back to county commissioner wages discussion. Commissioner Dalkey?
Yeah, just thank you, team, for putting this out. County Commission's wages is a set wage plus availability of insurance. And I think that's a very, what I've seen in the years that I've been here, it's been very helpful for the commissioners to come here and be here. And I think it's, public probably don't know that we do pay health insurance for a commissioner if they so take it. And I don't care who involved today or in the past or whatever, but it's been a thing it's been a positive for the commissioners that do come, that they need it. And I'm very thankful that the past commissioners before us give us this opportunity to have that. But I think it's time to set out a pay rate that if we want it, we pay it out of our own pay. Now, the last time that I looked at this, it was around $450 to $500 a month is what we was paying for a commissioner's wage at that time. That's been a while. It's been a while back since I looked at that. It's now singles. The county pays $816, a total of $866. And the county for a family pays $1,400, is that correct? A month?
I don't have that
Oh,
for me.
okay. Okay. That's what I'm reading. That's on option one. Wait a minute,
Yeah.
that's on option one. Maybe it's different down on option two.
Well, the county pays, where it says county paid single and
Yep.
family, those are the amounts that we pay based on what deductible you have.
Okay,
So for a single plan, regardless of which plan it is, we pay $866.57 for health, drug, and dental.
okay,
And then for a family, it changes,
yeah.
the amount changes.
Somewhere, yeah, higher than that. Our total insurance per month looks like, what is that?
866.
Well, if somebody's on option two, they're paying, $45 and the county's paying $866. So like for option two, the total premium is $912.18 a month.
Okay, right.
So if somebody's on option two, under your scenario, that's what they would pay
Okay.
instead of $45. Wait, is that right? I'm
It
sorry.
looks like, doesn't matter what option though. It's option 1, 2, or 3, the county still pays the 866.
Yeah.
That's correct,
Yeah.
but then the difference is based on, what the employee pays out of.
Does that 866 show up on their W-2s as
Yes.
wages?
It shows up as a benefit that we provide.
Only owners have to pay tax on the insurance. It's privilege of owning your own company.
Yeah.
It counts the wages.
Yeah.
It
Before,
does.
before you get too terribly far down this path, I do wanna just, if I can, just
Yeah.
make a comment
Yeah.
or, so under the Affordable Care Act, we are required to offer insurance, and we do that. We do that to all employees that work at least 30 hours a month, or a week, excuse me, and we've always considered commissioners full-time, not part-time.
Right.
And so that's something that we've always offered, and under the Affordable Care Act, I would, want to check the legalities of excluding a certain group. I think that you might be able to, since you're an elected body, but we also have other elected officials that are considered employees. And so I'd want to make sure that this
One
would
rule
be a
wouldn't-
legal thing to do.
One rule wouldn't
That's
override
right.
into another one.
That's right, and also, it has been the county's policy, like, we have other employees that insurance is offered to everyone who's eligible for it,
Yeah.
and it's their choice whether to take it or not. We have other employees that don't take the insurance, and my concern, another concern that I would have would be if you take this action and set this precedent that those employees that choose not to take our insurance, we have never said you get more money if you don't take the insurance. That's essentially what we're looking at here. So I just would think that you'd want to be a little bit careful, and just make sure that we're not setting any legal precedents that could cause the county problems later by
Before we go
changing the
anywhere then,
structure.
let's find out whether it would be legal or not.
Okay.
To set a set rate for the commissioners, and if they wanted, they could take it out of that, if not.
And if that makes any kind of, any issues for any other electeds
Yeah.
or,
Yeah.
Because insurance makes $2 to $3 an hour difference in wages. I mean, if I took with my employees, you don't take insurance, you might be able to get some more money.
yeah, but the county doesn't do that, and I would not recommend ever doing
Yeah,
it,
no,
because that would,
it's a deep hole.
it would be not a good thing for the county.
But you're just wanting to look at electeds, right?
Well.
If you did an elected, so if there's any other electeds that didn't take
You just look
insurance.
at commissioners.
He's wanting to just do it as commission,
Commissioners, right.
but I need to make sure that, one, that we can even do that under ACA.
Yeah.
And two,
How it affects the
does
other
that affect
elected.
other electeds?
Yes,
Because there
yes.
are other electeds
Correct.
that, I would say the majority probably are on the insurance, and,
I think another perspective you need to think about is if we did that, that would, to the taxpayer, they're gonna say, Jiminy Christmas, the commission just gave themselves a huge raise.
Oh,
I mean, huge
Yeah.
raise.
But it'd be no different than
even though it's a washout.
every
It's a wash.
commissioner takes the insurance.
But,
Yeah, but that's all shady.
It's almost a sell job, because that's the first thing they're gonna say, oh my gosh, you guys do it.
And my answer to that is, yeah, there's pay involved in this, and we wanna provide something for somebody to have to take, you know, we've got a young person there, and a younger one, I heard he's turning into the Social Security age, but there's 3 of us out here that's above this.
He's only 45, I don't know what you're talking about.
Still
Oh,
ready
okay.
to retire.
So, you know, but I would like to see somebody, I'd like to be able, when I started, I was 20 years, 50 years old. And so somebody that starts at a younger age may have to have insurance, and I don't want to cut that out by any means, because I think that's very good that that's a decent wage for somebody to come in and have to, whether they have to take a cut in their job or whatever.
Well, that's an issue, because to get younger people involved, if they're working a full-time job, they're probably gonna take a cut in pay to become a commissioner.
Yes, yeah.
Depends on work
Yeah.
for a corporation or
I'll take it.
Right.
for themselves.
Right.
These days,
Only-
all of my knees.
The corporation that I work for wanted involvement, so that's the reason why I got to come. But anyway, I think Tina's questions would be good ones just to answer, to see if it can be done.
Just the-
And not go any further discussion till,
Make a copy.
you know, that's where I'm at with it.
I mean, I'm
Make
not
sure
saying
that-
you can't discuss it, but I
Right.
think that before you take any kind of an
Yeah.
action, there's a
Yes.
few more things that probably need to be looked at,
There's
just
no use in
research to make
discussing it if we
sure.
can't do it, so. What you brought up, and I understand that, so then it'd have to be something, if it affects all elected, which you got 5 positions that's elected, then it would have to, take a look at that then too. And so if you provide it for all elected, it could be that way.
So, I guess I don't understand what you're trying to do. I mean, we chose not to accept the county's insurance because it's better than I can get for Medicare.
It's better than the Medicare? No, I'm not pursuing that or anything. I'm just pursuing equal pay right straight across the board, whether 4 of us takes it, 1 of us don't, or nobody takes it. It's a straight pay, and if you want it, it's your choice. I mean, it is today.
Yes.
Yeah, but the public, you ask the public, who knows about that? Nobody knows about it.
But that was what I was saying, the taxpayer perception, say, 4 of us don't want it, but one person really needs it.
Yeah,
That one person's not really getting a pay raise.
Yeah.
But the perception is you just got a huge pay raise.
yeah.
But we took this job to provide those services to the county. I assume we didn't do it for the money.
No, I don't think anybody did, but I think in the world that we live in, at some point, that may weigh on whether a person runs or not.
Yeah, it costs me more than it may.
Because, you know, if you've got a person that's gotta take a lot of time off of work, and they're gonna take a big,
Spend
Pay
most
cut.
of it on gas
Yeah.
around the country.
Yeah, so it's just something to, first of all, I think Tina's point is very good, Tina, and just figure out whether we can do something like that or not, and whether we want to or not. That's the next question.
and when was the last time that there was a actual pay raise for commissioners? Not mine.
No, it's been over 6 years ago, and it's been maybe even 10, I don't know.
I'll be 6 years in March.
It went from, I think it was somewhere around 14 or 15, and then went down up to, you could look probably.
You want me, I can
Yeah.
check it out real
Yeah,
quick.
'cause,
There is a area fuel bid.
Okay, we'll make sure.
Shortly after
Yeah.
this. so just make
I
sure.
do
We
know
want
that,
insurance.
based on what I've seen, we're about the lowest in the state.
I guess.
One of the lowest.
Well, to pursue it further, we'll have Tina check into
Sure.
the consequences. There's some unintended, there always are whenever a
Yep.
person does something, there's other issues
Mhm.
never even thought of.
Right.
Because we do have to continue to offer the health insurance, but it's just a matter of whether it's paid,
Yeah.
how it's paid for.
Right.
So I'm gonna ask Tina to pursue that. And Commissioner Becker, if you would be interested in checking some of the other counties.
I have been.
Okay.
When you first brought that up, I was just
Yeah,
curious
that's-
where
I
some
kinda
of them
figured
were.
you guys had the information.
Because, I've talked to some of the other counties that were quite a bit larger than us, and of course, you can't
Oh.
really compare to that.
Oh, yeah, hardly.
And
They make it a full-time job.
online, you can find a little bit, but not a lot.
But if you could summarize that and bring it to us.
I was surprised the other day when we counted this, we was 66, there was
Yeah.
60-some counties smaller than us. I didn't realize there was
Yeah.
that many smaller than us.
There's a lot
We're right.
of,
Yeah.
small population.
Yeah, yeah, right in the middle.
This pay rate went into effect the January 2016 pay period. And then the previous one, it's at 1508 a month, and it was at 1478 a month. That one was in 2010, so
10, 16,
that's it.
6 more years, yeah.
So it's.
Wasn't much of a raise.
No.
No, it was only $30.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
probably like a 0.5% or 1% that
Yeah.
was done for everyone.
Oh,
That's
yeah.
about what everybody got. And then, 2005 is the first record I have, which it was $1,013. And then in 2006, it went to $1,146. 2007, $1,421. 2009, $1,449. 2010, $1,478. And then 2000, it was $1,221. 2015. So then the 2016 January pay period, $1,508.
It's went up $400 in 18 years.
Right, and I think that was, those,
Almost kept up with inflation.
those changes coincided with what the board had been doing for the employees at that
Yeah.
time. So when the employees got 1%, the commission was
Yeah.
getting that percent.
Yeah, right. And then we cut that out there, got it there to that, so.
Well, just to throw in a couple of other kinks into it, well, somewhere in the middle, we went from 3 commissioners to 5 commissioners.
Yeah.
So, that's
Makes a
fact.
difference.
That's a fact.
On budget, big
Uh,
time.
And I'll throw another kink in. I know the time that you spent as chairman, the time that Jonah spent as chairman, or the time I've spent as chairman, it's about double the hours of a regular commission position. And so then to throw the third kink into it is, once the administrator comes online, it's gonna change our workload again. I'm just throwing
We
those
hope.
kinks out there.
We hope.
Yes, yes.
I mean, there's still gonna be some work
Oh,
for the
oh,
East
yeah,
Coast.
yeah.
Oh, yeah, there's still.
But it's gonna change.
Yeah.
It's gonna change. I'm just throwing the kinks out
Yeah.
there.
I was just gonna put insurance in my company, he's talking about his, mine is, all the singles, 100% paid. I don't care if you don't want it, you get insurance. You're covered on the clock, off the clock, all the time. And that way, everybody's paid the same, everybody's paid fairly.
Wow, wow,
So-
that's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, that gives the argument.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's, whether you don't want it, I don't care, you got it.
Because
Here's your card.
Young kids don't think they need it,
Well, yeah, but then
because they want that,
they're always, my biggest asset is my people, so
yeah.
they're covered 24 hours a day.
Well, and one other thing that's important to remember is that with insurance, we do a pre-tax deduction, and you're in that for the full plan year, or you're out of it for the full plan year, but you can add or change coverage, like if you lose coverage from a job or whatever, you can get on at that time. And, but you can't just drop it in the middle of a year.
Right.
You have to wait till open enrollment, which for us is May 1. So during April, we make those enrollments and de-enrollments and make those choices. But like if there is somebody that has insurance now and they wanted to drop it now, they can't. They can't even drop it.
They can't even drop it.
Reminds me
I
Right.
thought you could drop it at any time.
You can't drop it at any time for no
Because
reason
we should
because
probably
we're,
do it next
because we
month.
withhold it pre-tax. And so there are specific laws and rules that govern that. So you can't just drop it
Mhm.
randomly or at any time you want, so.
Can't cut it out of the budget.
I know the company don't want the, Blue Cross Blue Shield wants that, if you sign up for 110 members, why, they want to see that 110 members.
Well, and it's not them, but it's through the IRS,
Yeah.
because the people are getting, since it's pre-tax, they're paying less income tax on the wages. Because those wages that go to insurance aren't taxable.
Okay, well, I
Thank you
think
all. Appreciate it.
it's been a good discussion.
Yep.
We've got a couple of questions.
Yep.
We'll follow up on it and then bring it back.
Okay.
We have area fuel bids. And that's the most anticipated part of every meeting. And it looks like there was just one bid.
Okay.
Yeah.
You still have one?
Go with the only and low bidder, MFA Oil, for all areas.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner Garing,
Second that.
second by Commissioner Crowfoot. Discussion. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried.
Do you have one, Tina?
Yes, I do. Thank you.
Those are going up again.
It's funny how it actually gone. That happens.
We don't have no road and bridge coming in today, do we?
No.
I do have one area, real close to you, Jonah, the gospel school bus driver down there has a road that needs a quarter-mile to tie some roads, and some new kids have moved in to tie this road together. And so I'm gonna approach Bryce to see just exactly what that quarter-mile is gonna take with the school bus driver down there at Gospel, and it's between Goldenrod and Falcon. And they come from Falcon and on 80th, and they come to the house, and before you got that area, I saw the same school bus driver stuck down in that
On
area.
80th?
On 80th, yeah. There's about a quarter-mile there that it would make their route a little easier for her, and those people don't complain down there. They very seldom do they have a question. So I want to address this and make sure that we can see if we can do it and get a rock for them to make a complete route and save some mileage. Okay.
Work with Bryce, and then if we
Yeah.
need to take action.
Yeah.
we'll follow up.
One more thing, since you're talking about rock, and I mean this,
Yeah.
just to bring it up, but,
Okay.
you know, we've spent a ton of money in hauling and rock this year. I don't know if you've been out on some of your roads, but Diamond was just rocked either last month or the month before. I went out on it after it was done, and I almost thought we had too much rock on it. I drove it the other day, it is all gone.
It's all slime.
It is totally gone.
Yeah, that's, Falcon was rocked last week. And it was like you say, it was just loaded. It was out this weekend. It is nothing but a mud pit thrown on the side of my truck.
I mean, I think we need to get serious about
The hard rock.
How we
the
spend.
rock that we're spending.
We may not be able to do as much as what we, in my opinion, may not be able to do as much as what we did this time.
Right.
But what we do
Let's
needs
do
hard
it,
rock.
let's
on
do it right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've even had a comment from a person that said, even though I hate it, why don't you just if you're gonna put down that limestone, put down 2-inch rock, and I'll face the
Yeah.
issues with my tires.
3-inch minus, pack it in as a base, come back later, put the hard stuff on.
It's frustrating. It just feels like we got nowhere.
Commissioner Mueller walked in yesterday, I had a complaint from South resident down there, and their comments was, maybe, I just had to check their comments out, I wasn't real happy with the comments, but anyway, I checked them out, and there was some sort of tracking of that road, and some of their comments might not have been correct, but anyway, that person seemed to tell me something, that they seem to know how many miles, how many tons per mile we put on everything we did. And with this project that you're talking about, we put 200 tons on some, we put 300 tons on some roads, and we put 400 tons on some per mile. And so, I don't know, and I think that becomes the heaviest traveled roads got more, and then the lighter travel's got less. Well, I sometimes wonder that upsets some people when they see that they've got this much, and then they travel the next road that's got this much. And so I know that affected some people.
Some of it's wide too, if the road is wide.
Wider, it spreads out
Yeah.
thinner and stuff like that, so. But
Diamond is wide
Yeah.
and it was thick.
Yeah, and so anyway, that seemed to be a comment from them that they was perturbed with. I said, well, we're just as important as the next person, so if we do something like that, I maybe, if we do the gray rock, that we do a set amount on it, on every road, no variance, no
Yeah.
matter where, just do it at a certain.
Well, you can put less down.
You can put that, yeah.
You know, maybe I shot Dave down too quick when he said, once upon a time, he said, well, we just go gray rock everywhere. And I said, you can't, because you got low-lying areas. Well, it seems like that might have been the right call. And then where the low-lying areas is, and it washes out, don't put the gray back there.
Okay, we'll do further discussion on the hard rock issue. This is another road and bridge issue. Commission, Bryce had presented a policy that's done in Chase County where they pay their road and bridge employees for education. We had discussed this a couple of months ago. We were waiting for our counselor to provide us with the policy, which we still don't have the policy. So Bryce is wanting to explain to his employees about the program, but we don't have a policy.
That's where Chase County was paying
It was that road
something
scholar.
per hour.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know if we want to fully jump off that cliff or not.
Okay,
It's
well, we
gonna
took
mess
an
with our-
action.
It's gonna mess with our pay plan,
Okay.
Good.
Well,
and we've done quite a bit of work to try to just get somewhere. I don't know. I don't want to tick them off either. I just said,
No.
I think you'd have to just really consider how much per hour it would be. I
Right.
mean, we can make it work with the pay plan.
it'd almost be better if they just moved a step or something.
tie it to a step.
Yeah, but we would have to, I really think it would be good to look at the actual program
Mm-hmm.
and see what warrants a step. I mean, what level warrants a step. Taking one class probably doesn't warrant a step,
Right.
you know what I mean? But if they achieve a certain level,
Right.
Yeah, that would make a lot more sense.
And I don't know where we're at on numbers now, whether we're above 30 employees in Road and Bridge or below 30. But another department in Chase County may be either above 10 or below 10. And if they don't have a pay program like we've done, you know, then maybe it was used to help them get paid too. So that's sort of some information that I'd like to know. Or how,
They were at 10 when we had the state convention.
yeah,
But
employees, yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's always a good idea to wait until you know a program is gonna happen before you
Right.
talk about it
Yeah.
with your people.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we don't-
I'll have him hold off and re-present the.
And not that we don't want to do something, and, I mean, but we felt we've done quite a bit, and.
Right. Well,
yeah.
we took that step several months ago, and then we've never gotten follow-up.
Right.
So did we
Maybe-
actually
maybe I
take the
can work
step?
with him. Well, you basically express support of him developing a policy to bring back, or,
Yeah.
or something specific to Marion County, something to propose, which hasn't happened.
That's what I thought. I
We
thought
supported
nothing
the
was,
concept.
yeah, nothing was ever
Right.
committed to.
Right.
Correct.
Okay.
I can try to work with him to see if we can come up with something that makes sense,
Appreciate that.
if the board wants me to.
Yep. Would you do that, please?
Roughly, Tina, in that regards, from 2 years ago, is there any employee in our county that has not received at least $2 an hour?
There's a few. Some people have been topped out.
Well, if they're topped out in their bracket, that's a little different.
Right.
Then that's a different deal, but I just wonder if there's any employee that hasn't received $2 an hour.
I can check.
There's a few. There's a few that could only get so much.
And if they've topped out their bracket, that's a decision. We have to put them in another bracket if we feel that bracket deserves it.
If the job warrants it.
Job warrants it, yes. Mhm. Yeah, I can't help some of those that's at the top of their pay bracket on their job. Unless we.
I guess I'm confused about why you're asking me. I mean, we kind of reviewed every situation and all scenarios based on performance and different things.
I'm just, what I'm
So-
saying though is, because we've had let's just take it, the lowest paid people 3 years ago was somewhere around $11 an hour. And I'd like to take a look and see if they've,
I can provide you that pay plan again.
No, we're
Yeah.
gonna say
We
the
just got
lowest,
it.
I mean,
yeah,
you-
give us a fresh copy now.
lowest,
Okay.
lowest one was 13 something that I can remember.
Yeah, and it was 11 a couple of years ago.
You have done, I mean, you've done a lot of work on it. And
Right,
and getting
right.
And dropping those bottom 4 steps was important right
I'm-
now in this market too.
I'm very proud of what we've done,
Mhm.
but also don't want to leave anybody behind that's deserving.
2 weeks ago, we went through each one.
We had 3 or 4 that we had to kind of manipulate.
Well, we had to move
But
pay
they
bands.
got topped
And
And you
out,
just had,
Yeah, that's what Tina brought to us, and no
Yeah.
problem with that.
but you're worried about the entry level.
Just,
I'll get you a clean.
clean sheet of all employees.
You bet.
Yeah. There we go.
I could find it back.
It's okay.
It's here.
We'll just provide a clean one.
Send
That'd
it
be,
on.
that'd
Yeah.
be great, and I can throw away the one I got.
Yeah.
And remember to not leave my desk still up.
There you go.
Get rid of all the other copies.
Well, yeah, the working drafts are not.
That way I don't have a
Final
box
anyway.
sitting on my desk.
Yeah.
And I gotta
Get
deal
rid
with.
rid of all the old ones, just keep the new one.
Insurance cards. I don't know which one's new. They just keep getting shoved in there.
All right.
They usually have a print date on them, Jonah. Usually.
Last item, would the commission want to do a 15-minute executive session on property acquisition?
I think we're here.
Okay.
Do it.
I move we recess into executive session in order to discuss potential property acquisition pursuant to KSA 75-4319B. 6. Item 6, preliminary discussion of acquisition of real estate with the commission and Tina for 15 minutes. That would be from 10:50 to 11:05.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Galkey. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. We will be back at 11:05.
This conference will now be recorded.
All right, we're out of executive session, no decisions made. I move to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, nay. Motion carried. We're done. Next meeting is Monday, February 6th.
I'll probably be joining you by Zoom.
Good luck. Good luck.
Yeah, you can't hear.